That's a whole other, I don't do that, but there's people who are very skilled at that. You know, like if, you know, the owner of the company crashes his car and like reporters say he killed someone, right? You know,
exactly.
like, so there's a way to deal with that.
We think of that in terms of politicians a lot.
Yes. So, but public relations in the corporate marketing sense is what you're really doing. You know, if marketing is about, you know, communicating or telling customers about the value of your product and getting customers to come to your store and buy stuff, public relations is part of that, but you're doing it through a third party. You're doing it through a trusted, independent third party. So what's potentially extremely valuable is that the problem with marketing is that you're like blowing your own horn. You're like, I'm so great, aren't I? You know, so and people are like, I don't know, you're talking about yourself. Of course you think you're great. So if you can get a reporter to say that you're great, all of a sudden you've been validated, and then you have access to that person's audience. It's a great audience multiplier. You know, going on Channel 5 News in Los Angeles, all of a sudden, you know, 500,000 people are watching a segment about this baby shop, which, you know, that would be a very expensive, you know what I mean? Like, so for $300, I got them on the air. If they wanted to reach 500,000 people on TV, it would cost like, you know, $25,000 or something. So it's very valuable. And this is where it gets difficult because the media, they know it's valuable. So, you know, if you're a product and you go to like a television station, they're like, great to meet you. Please buy advertising from us. We sell media here, right? And you're like, oh, no, I want it for free. And you're like, right? No, but that's what PR is. So they're saying like, well, what do I get out of it? So they do get something out of it. You have to give them something interesting to talk about that their audience, to get their ratings and clicks and everything. So it's like a sort of a contract. But that's how public relations works. It's this indirect way to get your message out to people in a validating way. Now, where it gets tricky is with this balancing act, because again, the media outlet is generally not interested because their audience isn't interested in hearing about how great some company is. The only exception to that is they certainly sometimes have like gift guides or other times of year, or the Mother's Day issue of the magazine where they'll actually just say, here's some great things to buy. Go ahead, buy them. And that's one thing. But usually they're writing about issues, stories, people. Why are people going to the site or buying the newspaper? They want to read about something that's interesting to them. So you have to find your fit with that. But that's the basic difference between marketing and PR.
With that, is that something that finding those interest points, finding that fit in those, like, what makes the enticement, that's a part of the services that you offer, right?
Yes. That is.
You are actually really good.
This is what I theory bring to the table, that I will, you know, in this kind of bite-sized thing, I will give you an idea. Now, some people know exactly what they want, which is great. Often entrepreneurs need to be coached through the thought process. And it's not hard to find. Like it's not, usually it's kind of there, and often it's something people don't even think is important. So you have to find that, like, you know, find the area that's interesting. And the trick is you have to think like a reporter, and you have to think like a headline writer, and you kind of think backwards from that. And like I said, sometimes it isn't there, and it just like, or you're in a category that's just way oversaturated. Like, so for example, I get approached a lot about cryptocurrencies and NFTs and stuff. And I tell people, I really cannot help you. I mean, a few times I've been able to break through with NFTs, but usually they're based on major celebrities. Like there's something there that people want to hear about. Or I will reach out to very specialized people who write about, like, this is the other weird thing, like for almost anything you can imagine, there is someone who writes about it. You know, if your product helps people like make, you know, natural watercolor paints out of tree bark, there's someone who writes about that, you know, like in somewhere in the world. You know, usually.